bhagavatam, text 33, chapter, which is the chapter 9, first canto. Shri Krishna is the intimate friend of Arjuna and is appeared on his earth in a transcendental body which resembles the bluish color of the tamala tree. His body attracts everyone in the three planetary system, upper, middle, and lower. May his glittering yellow dress and his lotus face, covered with the paintings of sandal pearl, be the object of my attraction, and may I not desire fruitive deserts. Yeah.
When Sri Krishna, by his own internal pleasure, appears on earth, he does so by the agency of his eternal potency. The attractive feature of his transcendental body are desired in all the three worlds, namely the upper, middle, and lower planetary system. Nowhere in the universe are there such beautiful bodily features as those of Lord Krishna. Therefore, his transcendental body has nothing to do with anything materially created. Arjuna is described here as the conqueror. The Krishna is described as his ultimate friend. Bhishmadeva on his bed of arrow after the battle of Kurukshetra is remembering the particular dress of Lord Krishna, which he put on as the driver of Arjuna's chariot. While fighting was going on between Arjuna and Bhishma, Bhishma's attraction was drawn by the glittering dress of Krishna, and indirectly he admired his so-called enemy Arjuna for possessing the Lord as his friend. Arjuna was always a conqueror because the Lord was his friend. Bhishma Deva take this opportunity to address the Lord as Vijay Sakhe, friend of Arjuna, because the Lord is pleased when he is addressed conjointly with his devotees who are related with him in different transcendental humors. While Krishna was the charioteer of Arjuna, sun rays glittered on the dress of the Lord, and beautiful hue created by the reflection of such rays was never forgotten by Bhishmadeva. As a great fighter, he was relishing the relation of Krishna in his chivalrous humor. The transcendental relation with the Lord in any one of the different rasas is relishable by the respective devotees in the highest ecstasy. Less intelligent maintainers who want to make a show of being transcendently related with the Lord artificially jump at once to the relation of the conjugal love, imitating the damsels of Rajdhamma. Such a cheap relation with the Lord exhibit only the base mentality of the mundaner because one who has relished conjugal humor with the Lord cannot be attached to the worldly conjugal ras, which is condemned even by mundane ethics. The eternal relation of a particular soul with the Lord is a wall, a genuine relation of the living being with the Supreme Lord can take any form out of five principal rasas, and it does not make any difference in transcendental degree to the genuine devotee. Vishnudeva is a concrete example of this, and it should be carefully observed how the great journal is transcendently related with the Lord.
Okay. We keep reading Mataji. It's a beautiful purpose. And what are the main things? Om Agyana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisheshaya Shunyavadi Pashat Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Okay, what does it say? It says, Prabhupada says, nowhere is such beautiful features as those of Lord Krishna. Okay, this is very important. Prabhupada many times says Krishna is so beautiful. And devotees said, Prabhupada, we have not seen it. Prabhupada, no, you should see, it's so beautiful. So we do not know, but yes, Prabhupada is revealing here, there is nothing as beautiful as Krishna's beautiful features. And that is one point. And then second thing was that he is relishing to address him as Vijaya Sakha, as a friend of Arjuna. Okay, this is the mood of devotees. Krishna is very pleased when he is addressed in relation to his devotees. Therefore, we call him Partha Sarthi and so many names. And Prabhupada said we should not jump to rasa. Okay, this cheap relation, we should, at this neophyte stage, we should not jump into intimate, some transcendental relation. Okay, we should do our sadhana. And Bhishma was transcendently related to the Lord. On the battlefield where Sri Krishna attended Arjuna out of friendship, the flowing hair of Lord Krishna turned ashen due to the dust created by the hoofs of the horses. And because of his labor, the beads of sweat wetted his face. All this decoration, intensified by the wounds dealt by my sharp arrows, were enjoyed by him. Let my mind thus go unto Sri Krishna.
The Lord is the absolute form of eternity, bliss, and knowledge. As such, transcendental loving service to the Lord in one of the five principal relations, namely Santa Dasya Sakyas Vatsalya Madhurya, neutrality, servitorship, fraternity, filial affection, and conjugal love, is graciously accepted by Lord. And offered to the Lord in genuine love and affection. Sri Bhishma Deva is a great devotee of the Lord in relationship or servitorship. Thus, this throwing of sharp arrows at transcendental body of the Lord is as good as the worship of another devotee who throws soft roses upon him. It appears that Vishnu-deva is repenting the action he committed against the person of the Lord, but actually, the Lord body was not at all pain due to his transcendental existence. His body is not matter, both he himself and his body are complete spiritual identity. Spirit is never pierced, drawn, dried, moistened, etc. This is vividly explained in Bhagavad Gita. So also it is said in Sanskrit Purana, it is said there that spirit is always uncontaminated and indestructible. It cannot be distressed, nor can it be dried up. When Lord Vishnu in his incarnation appeared before us, he seems to be like one of the conditioned souls materially engaged just to bewilder the ashrams or the non-believers who are always alert to kill the Lord, even from the very beginning of his appearance. Kamsa wanted to kill Krishna and Ravana wanted to kill Rama. Because foolishly they were unaware of the fact that the Lord is never killed, but the spirit is never annihilated. Therefore, Vishnu Deva piercing of the body of Lord Krishna is a sort of bewildering problem for the non-devotee atheist. For those who are devotees or liberated souls are not bewildered. Vishnu Deva appreciated the all-merciful attitude of the Lord because he did not leave Arjuna alone, although he was disturbed of Vishnu Deva. Nor was he reluctant to come before Bhishma Deva deathbed, even though he was ill-treated by him on the battlefield. Bhishma repentance and Lord merciful attitude are both unique in this picture. Sri Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakur, a great acharya, devotee in humor of conjugal love with the Lord, remarks very silently in this regard. He says that the wounds created on the body of the Lord by the sharpened arrow of Bhishma Deva were as pleasing to the Lord as biting of a fiancé who bites the body of the Lord directly by a strong sense of the sex desire. Such biting by opposite sex is never taken as a sign of enmity, even if there is wound in the body. Therefore, fighting as an exchange of transgression
Between
between
the
the
Lord.
Lord and between the Lord and his pure devotee was not at all mundane. Besides that, since the Lord body and the Lord are identical, there is no possibility of wounds in the absolute body. The apparent wounds caused by the sharp and arrow are misleading to the common man, but one who has little absolute knowledge can understand the transcendental exchange in this chivalrous relation. The Lord was perfectly happy with the wounds caused by sharp and arrows of Vishwadeva. The word Vividhyam Vividhyamana is significant because the Lord's skin is not different from the Lord. Because our skin is different from our soul. In our case, the word Vidhyamana or being bruised and cut would have been quite suitable. Transcendental bliss is of different varieties, and the varieties of activity in the mundane world is but a perverted reflection of transcendental bliss. Because everything in the mundane world is qualitatively mundane, it is full of inevitabilities. Realism in the absolute realm, because everything is of same absolute nature. There are varieties of enjoyment without inevitability. The Lord enjoyed the boons created by his great devotee Vishnu-deva, and because Vishnu-deva is a devotee in a chivalrous relation, he picks up his mind on Krishna in that wounded condition.
Okay. Yeah, this is the word. Vibhidyamana. Pierced by. Okay, so he's meditating on that. Prabhupada many times explained this. He said that the relation of Bhishma is chivalrous. Huh? Just like king enjoys fighting with the wrestlers sometimes, just for a fun sake. Krishna also enjoys, and Bhishma gives him a fight. So Krishna's body transcendental. Whatever we don't like in our body doesn't exist in spiritual body. Even our spiritual body is similar in nature. Correct? We don't like blood. Anybody likes? Nobody likes. It doesn't exist in the spiritual body. So all these things are not there. The body is fully transcendental, but Krishna can show any Brahma. Just like Lord Nityananda also, when Jagai Madai threw the pot, no, he showed blood on his head. It's not possible, blood on the head. It's a Brahma created by the Lord. Similarly, this was the Brahma. Okay? Otherwise, Krishna's body is completely transcendental. There is no bone, blood, the veins. Okay. Chalo. Anyway, Bhishma is enjoying, meditating on that because that is the relation. And Krishna is also enjoying. For Krishna, it was proper says, as good as somebody offering soft roses upon him. The proper says it's a bewildering problem for the atheists. But devotees are not bewildered. They know it's a drama created by the Lord. This is very sweet. All merciful attribute to the Lord because he did not leave Arjuna alone. Okay, he was seeing his affection. He's enjoying. Because of his labor, beads of sweat wetted his face. What labor? Okay, we go to the next. In obedience to the command of his friend Lord Shri Krishna, entered the arena on the battlefield of Kurukshetra between the soldiers of Arjuna and Duryodhana. While there, he shortened the lifespans of the opposite party by his merciful glance. This was done mainly by looking at the enemy. Let my mind be fixed upon that Krishna.
In the Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna ordered the infallible Lord Shri Krishna to place his chariot between the phalanxes of the soldiers. He asked him to stay there until he had finished observing the animals he had to face in the battle. When the Lord was so asked, he at once did so, just like an order carrier. And the Lord pointed out all important men on the opposite side, saying, "Here is Bhishma, here is Drona," and so on. The Lord, being the supreme living being, is never the order supplier or order carrier of anyone, whoever he may be. But out of his causeless mercy and affection for his pure devotee, sometimes he carries out the order of the devotee like a waiting servant. By executing the order of the devotee, the Lord becomes pleased, as a father is pleased to carry out the order of his small child. This is possible only out of pure transcendental love between the Lord and his devotees. And Bhishmadeva was quite aware of this fact. He therefore addressed the Lord as a friend of Arjuna. The Lord diminished the duration of life of the opposite party by his merciful glance. It is said that all the
Fighters who assemble on the battlefield of Kurukshetra attain salvation by personally seeing the Lord at the time of death. You got it?
therefore is diminishing the duration of life of Arjuna's enemy does not mean that he was partial to the cause of worship. Actually, he was merciful to the opposite party because they would not have attained salvation by dying at home in the ordinary course of life. Here was a chance to see the Lord at the time of death and thus attain salvation from material life. Therefore, the Lord is all good, and whatever he does is for everyone's good. Apparently, it was for the victory of Arjuna, his intimate friend, but factually, it was for the good of Arjuna's enemy. Such are the transcendental activities of the Lord, and whoever understands this God also gets salvation after putting his material body. The Lord does no wrong in any circumstance because he is absolutely all good at all times.
The Lord is all good. The Krishna reduced the life of the Kaurava just by glancing at the whole army. At the same time, Prabhupada is saying nothing partiality because they would have, dying in the battlefield in front of Krishna. They all get the spiritual world. And what's the use of dying at home? Anyway, they have to die. Better die in front of Krishna. Therefore, the great Acharya Kulashekara Avala also prays, no? Now I'm young, I'm able to chant your holy name. Let me die now. And I'm old and so much sounds are coming from the mouth because of old age. I don't know I will be able to chant your name properly. So it's better to die in front of Krishna. As merciful, they would not have attained salvation. Krishna happily carry the order of his devotees out of love. Then I never remembered these prayers. Queen Kunti prayers we all remember, correct? These are also very nicely composed. Vahita pritana mukham nireksha swajana vadhad vimukhasya dosha bodhya kumatim arharat atma vidyaya yash charanarati paramasya tasya me astu. When Arjuna was seemingly polluted by the ignorance upon observing the soldiers and commanders before him on the battlefield, the Lord eradicated ignorance by delivering transcendental knowledge. May his lotus feet always remain the object of my attraction.
The kings and the commander were to stand in front of the fighting soldiers. That was the system of actual fighting. The king and the commanders were not so-called president or minister of defense as they are today. They would not stay home while the poor soldiers or mercenaries were fighting face to face. This may be the regulation of modern democracy, but when actual monarchy was prevailing, the monarchs were not cowards, elected without consideration of qualification, as it was evident on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. All the executive heads of both parties, like Drona, Bhishma, Arjuna, Duryodhana, were not sleeping. All of them were actual participants in the fight, which was selected to be executed at a place away from the civil residential quarters. This means that the innocent citizens were immune from all the effects of fighting between the rival royal parties. The citizen had no business in seeing what was going to happen during such fighting. They were to bring one-fourth of their income to the ruler, whether he be Arjuna or Duryodhana. All the commanders of the parties on the battlefield of Kurukshetra were standing face to face. The Arjuna saw them with great compassion and lamented that he was to kill his kinsmen on the battlefield for the sake of the empire. He was not at all afraid of the giant military phalanx presented by Duryodhana, but as a merciful devotee of the Lord, renunciation of worldly things was natural for him. And thus he decided not to fight for worldly possessions. But this was due to poor fund of knowledge, and therefore it is said here that this intelligence became polluted. His intelligence could not be polluted at any time because he was a devotee and constant companion of the Lord, as is clear in 4th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Apparently, Arjuna's intelligence became polluted because otherwise there would not have been a chance to deliver the teachings of Bhagavad Gita. For
The good of all polluted conditioned soul engage in material bondage by the concession of the false material body. Yes, Mataji, you got?
the Bhagavad Gita was delivered to the conditioned souls of the world to deliver them from wrong conception of identifying the body with the soul and to re-establish the soul's eternal relation with the Supreme Lord. Atma Vidya, or transcendental knowledge of himself, was primarily spoken by the Lord for the benefit of all concerned in all parts of the universe.
Okay. Benefit of all concerned in all parts of the universe. Eva Prabhupada went all parts of the universe. Apparently, Prabhupada says, apparently Arjuna's intelligence. It was Krishna's will. Arjuna was not scared, but
Oh,
he knows when he lift Gandiva, all will die, so he's feeling compassion. It's just like this. Suppose you get a bomb and you're going to throw the bomb and all the city is going to die. You'll think, no, when you're seeing people running around, you feel very sad. स्वनिगमम् अपहाय मत् प्रतिज्ञान ऋतम् अधिकर्तुम् अवप्लोतुरस् रथस्थः ऋता रथा चरणो अव्यया चलग्दुः हरि इवा हन्तुमिभं गतोतरीयः. Fulfilling desire and sacrificing his own promise, he got down from the chariot, took up its wheel, and ran towards me hurriedly, just as a lion goes to kill an elephant. He even dropped his outer garment on the way.
Battle of Kurukshetra was fought on military principles, but at the same time in a sporting spirit like a friend's fighter with another friend. Duryodhana criticized Bhishma Deva allegedly that he was reluctant to kill Arjuna because of the paternal affection. A Kshatriya cannot tolerate insult on the principle of fighting. Bhishma Deva therefore promised that the next day he would kill all the five Pandavas with special weapons made for the purpose. Duryodhana was satisfied and he kept the arrows with him to be delivered the next day during the fight. By tricks, Arjuna took the arrows from Duryodhana, and Vishwadeva could understand that this was the trick of Lord Krishna. So he took a vow that the next day Krishna would have to take up weapons himself, otherwise his friend Arjuna would die. And the next day's fighting, Vishwadeva fought so violently that both Arjuna and Krishna were in trouble. Arjuna was almost defeated. The situation was so tense that he was about to be killed by Vishwadeva the very next moment. At that time, Lord Krishna wanted to please his devotee Bhishma by keeping Bhishma's promise, which was more important than his own. Seemingly, he broke his own promise. He promised before the beginning of the battle of Kurukshetra that he would remain without weapons and would not use his strength for either of the parties. But to protect Arjuna, he got down from the chariot, took up the wheel of the chariot, and hurriedly rushed at Bhishma Deva in an angry mood, as a lion goes to kill an elephant. He dropped his covering cloth on the way, and out of great anger, he did not know that he had dropped it. Vishwadeva at once gave up his weapons and stood to be killed by Krishna, his beloved Lord. The fighting of the day was thus ended at the very moment, and Arjuna was saved. Of course, there was no possibilities of Arjuna death because the Lord himself was on the chariot, but because Bhishma Deva wanted to see Lord Krishna take up some weapons to save his friend, the Lord created the situation, making Arjuna's death imminent. He stood before Bhishma Deva to show him that his promise was fulfilled and he had taken up the wheel.
This is a very famous meditation. Correct? You know this? Oh, this is Chaitanya. He also wants to hear. Then, how much he is chanting every day? Started chanting?
Nothing. You just chant 5 times the mantra. You just chant. While going to school, he is afraid of. Oh, Chaitanya, please don't make sound. कर दूं नहीं 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 मेरा सब कुछ ही कर दूं कुछ नहीं कर रहा अच्छा सॉरी 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 बाबू जी को आई कुछ अब आपको सुनाई दे रहा
ठीक है कंटिन्यू
हाँ जी बाबू जी प्लीज इसलिए आवाज नहीं आ रही थी आपको
Now, which class he is in?
Sadhana, Prabhuji is asking you, you are in which class? Prabhuji, he is in prep, about to be in
First class now. Huh?
Yeah, he cannot see your face, so he is wondering that whom I am speaking to. You go from here. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. He always tells me if I get up late, Mummy, आज प्रभु जी की क्लास नहीं है, क्या आप उठ रही हो? छोड़ो हमें। बेटे नहीं, it is not okay. चलो, अच्छा आप जाओ अब आप डिस्टर्ब नहीं। प्रभु जी, we will continue. We will waste our time.
ठीक है. We do on 3 o'clock. We are doing Chaitanya Charitamrita also.
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay. That is Payal Mataji, Chaitanya Charitamrita. We finish some portions.
I will also try to join. नहीं कर सकते हो. Last chapter, ये देखो. Yeah, I need to
Okay, you know the story, no? Duryodhana took the 5 arrows from Bhishma, correct? Duryodhana challenged Bhishma, you're not fighting properly. So he said, no, 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 I'll make 5 arrows. All the 5 Pandavas are dead tomorrow. So Krishna knew this is very dangerous because, so Krishna sent Arjuna, go and collect those 5 arrows. So he went to Duryodhana, and Duryodhana had, once Arjuna had saved him from some trouble. So he's given a benediction that, anything you want, you can ask from me. So I said, no, I'll ask later. So he went in the when he went to meet Duryodhana in the night, night they were friends, and day they used to fight. So he went to meet Duryodhana, and he said, Duryodhana said, what do you want? He said, remember you gave me one promise. So what do you want? You want, I'll give you the kingdom now. He said, no, 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 that I'll take from you fighting, but now I want the 5 arrows. So Duryodhana gave. Actually, if you see, Duryodhana was better than even today's administrators, correct? Nobody
Yes.
do like that. Nobody will do like that. We may say compared to the Pandavas, they were gutter, but still, he was not as bad as people are today.
No, no,
Anyway,
no.
so finally, Bhishma fought very valiantly anyway next day. And when he came to know Krishna, Arjuna has come and taken the arrows. He knows it is Krishna's trick. So he said, now let me see. I'll fight so well. Either Krishna takes the weapon or Arjuna is dead today. So Krishna protected Arjuna, at the same time protected Bhishma's oath. He finally broke his oath to lift the weapons, and he went in the front as if a lion goes to attack an elephant. And Bhishma was very happy to see his lord, breaking his chariot because of affection for his devotee. Shita Vishikahat Vishnidam Shaha Shataja Paripluta Atatahino me Prasabham Avishasharamad Padartham Sa Bhavatu me Bhagavan Gatir Mukundaha. May he, the Lord Shri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who awards salvation, be my ultimate destination. On the battlefield, he charged me as if angry because of the wounds dealt by my sharp arrows. His shield was scattered and his body was smeared with the blood due to the wounds.
The dealings of Lord Krishna and Bhishma Deva on the battlefield of Kurukshetra are interesting because the activities of Lord Shri Krishna appear to be partial to Arjuna and an enmity with Bhishma Deva. But factually, all this was specially meant to show special favors for Bhishma Deva, a great devotee of the Lord. The astounding feature of such dealing is that the devotee can please the Lord by playing the part of an enemy. The Lord, being absolute, can accept service from his pure devotee, even in the garb of an enemy. The Supreme Lord
Cannot.
cannot have any enemy, nor can so-called enemy harm him because he is Ajita or unconquerable. But still he takes pleasure when his pure devotees beat him like an enemy or revokes him from superior position. Although no one can be superior to the Lord, there are some of the transcendental reciprocatory dealings of the devotee with the Lord, and those who have no information of pure devotional service cannot penetrate into the mystery of such dealings. Vishwadeva played the part of a valiant warrior, and he purposely pierced the body of the Lord so that to the common eyes it appeared that the Lord was wounded. But factually, all this was to bewilder the non devotees. All spiritual body cannot be wounded, and a devotee cannot become the enemy of the Lord. Had it been so, Vishwadeva would not have desired to have this very same Lord as the ultimate destination of his life. Had Bhishmadeva been an enemy of the Lord, Lord Krishna would not have annihilated him without even moving. There was no need to come before Bhishmadeva with blood and wounds, but he did so because the warrior devotee wanted to see the transcendental beauty of the Lord, decorated with the wounds created by a pure devotee. This is the way of exchanging transcendental rasa or relation between the Lord and the servitor. By such dealings, both the Lord and the devotee become glorified in their respective positions. The Lord was so angry that Arjuna checked him when he was moving towards Bhishmadeva, but in spite of Arjuna's checking, he proceeded towards Bhishmadeva as a lover goes to a lover, without caring for hindrances. Apparently, his determination was to kill Bhishmadeva, but factually it was to please him as a great devotee of the Lord. The Lord is undoubtedly the deliverer of all the conditioned souls. The imperialist desires
Impersonalist desire. The impersonalist.
The impersonalist desire salvation from him, and he always awards them according to their aspiration. But here Vishmadeva aspired to see the Lord in his personal feature. All pure devotee aspire for this.
Yeah, Mataji understood the purport, no? It's a simple purport. Okay.
Yes, Bhakti.
And what we do with Payal Mataji, we only stop if something is then not understandable. We keep hearing. So nice, actually. Therefore, we have gone ahead of this. Okay. So this is Shivalras Rasa, and Prabhupada is saying because he was enjoying that transcendentally. Otherwise, he will not come and pray like this. My Lord, let it be your destination. Correct? There was no material anger between them. There was the transcendental relation. At the moment of my death, let my ultimate attraction be to Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead. I concentrated mine upon the chariot driver of Arjuna, who stood with the whip in his right hand and a bridle rope in his left, and was very careful to give protection to Arjuna's chariot by all means. Those who saw him in the battlefield of Kurukshetra attained their original forms after death.
A
Sarupam.
pure devotee
Yeah, continue.
A pure devotee of the Lord constantly sees the presence of the Lord within himself because of being transcendently related by loving service. Such a pure devotee cannot forget the Lord for a moment. This is called trance. The mystic tries to concentrate upon the supersoul by controlling the senses from all other engagement, and thus he ultimately attains samadhi. A devotee more easily attains samadhi or trance by constantly remembering the Lord's personal feature along with his holy name, fame, pastime, etc. Therefore,
The concentration of a mystic yogi and that of a devotee are not on the same level.
the concentration of the mystic is mechanical, whereas that of a pure devotee is natural and pure love and spontaneous affection. Vishmadeva was a pure devotee, and as a military marshal, he constantly remembered the metal feature of the Lord as Parth Sarthi, the chariot driver of Arjuna. Therefore, the Lord's pastime as Parth Sarthi is also eternal. The pastimes of the Lord, beginning from his birth at the prison house of Kamsa up to the Moshala Leela at the end, all move one after another in all the universes, just as the clock hand moves from one point to another. And in such pastime, his associates like Pandavas and Bhishmas are constant eternal companions. So Bhishmadeva never forgot the beautiful features of the Lord as Parthsathi, which even Arjuna could not see. Arjuna was behind the beautiful Parthsathi, while Bhishmadeva was just in front of the Lord. As far as the military feature of the Lord is concerned, Bhishmadeva observed this with more relish than Arjuna. All the soldiers in person on the battlefield of Kurukshetra attained their original spiritual form like the Lord after their death because by the causeless mercy of the Lord, they were able to see him face to face on that occasion. The conditioned soul rotating in the evolutionary cycle from the aquatics up to the form of Brahma are all in the form of Maya, or the form obtained by one's own activities and awarded by material nature. The material form of the conditioned souls are all foreign dresses, and when the conditioned soul becomes liberated from the clutches of material energy, he attained his original form. The imperialist, the impersonalist wants to attain the impersonal Brahman effulgence of the Lord, but that is not at all congenial to the living sparks, part and parcel of the Lord. Therefore, the impersonalist again fall down and get material forms, which are all false to the spirit soul. A spiritual form like the Lord's, either two-handed or four-handed, is attained by the devotee of the Lord, either in Vaikuntha or in Golika land, according to the original nature of the soul. This form, which is 10% spiritual, is the Swarupa of the living beings, and all the living beings who participated on the battlefield of Kurukshetra on both the sides attained their Swarup, as confirmed by Vishnu Deva. So Lord Shri Krishna was not merciful only to the Pandavas, he was also merciful to the other
Parties.
parties because all of them attained the same result. Vishnu wanted the same facility also, and that was his prayer to the Lord. Although his position as an associate of the Lord is assured in all circumstances, the conclusion is that whoever died looking on the personality of the Godhead, within or without, attains his Swarupa, which is the highest life.
So it's nice to meditate on certain pastime of Krishna, and Bhishma's relation is chivalry. He's meditating on the pastime where he was fighting with Krishna, and his so sweet prayers is offering. Let my attraction to Sri Krishna. And this is the place he is giving a certificate that those who died on the battlefield attain their original forms after death. Arjuna was so worried, no? What will happen? So many people will die. So what is wrong? All of them got Swarupa, no? The highest benediction possible, correct? Because they died seeing Krishna. What happened? Chaitanya is disturbed now. Children don't like being neglected, Anna.
He's telling me that nobody loves me, that's why I've come to you. Okay, okay. To go
So
from
now,
here.
huh? And you are telling you to go from it. Abhi, it will take some. You want to stop or we continue?
Prabhuji, can we stop now? Because now he will keep on nagging me and keep on
ठीक
disturbing
है,
us.
ठीक
Even
है,
I'm
ठीक
feeling bad that your time is also being
है. You
wasted.
see, at 3 o'clock is Chaitanya Charitamrita. If you are free by that time, you join. Okay?
Yes, Prabhuji. Sorry,
Okay?
Prabhuji, for this.
No, no, that's okay. That's okay. Even they are ready below for the kirtan. Yeah. You can hear the arti.
Yes, Prabhuji. Slightly.
ठीक है. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Mother.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
कहता ना बाबूजी को गुस्सा आ गया देख बाबूजी ने बंद कर दिया कह रहे हैं ये बहुत नॉटी बच्चा है